Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to me, my name is Lauren, and I'm healing my chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue by healing old emotional wounds and trauma from my early life and what I've recently discovered, past lives as well. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. If you have listened to me before, you may have heard me talk about the fact that this illness and the healing of this illness for me has taken me deep into spirituality, development of my spiritual side that I was never in touch with at all before this illness, and very rejecting of that, but also these sort of what used to be very fringe things, but are becoming much more common and popular as people are learning the value of them. Things like astrology and numerology, and the idea of past lives and old souls, new souls, the evolution of souls over time. And so this is what I'm going to talk. So today I'm going to talk about past lives, and that is because this crazy turn of events happened for me. I have been in this process of learning how to allow wounds to just come up on their own, to create a safe space of love and compassion and acceptance in my body and for my inner child, so that the old wounds that need to heal can just come up on their own, and whenever my soul, the universe, my inner child decides that we're ready to do that. And that's what I'm sharing with you, because this is how I'm healing my chronic fatigue and how I have healed my adrenal fatigue, by healing these old wounds. And you can heal these old wounds by first calming your nervous system with the techniques I talk about on this channel, with a breathing technique, this elliptical breathing technique, a very slow, methodical, smooth breathing in and out, never holding your breath, and doing it in this very easy, this very controlled, calming way that actually massages your adrenals. And then working on calming your mind, calming your external environment, doing everything to calm your nervous system, everything that you need to. And I talk about it on this channel, and I also have am creating a course that when it's ready, it will be down below in the comments. But so first, calming the body, calming the nervous system, so that you can start allowing old emotions to come up. Because the whole thing, what a sympathetic state does, what having a revved nervous system all the time does, is it keeps that stuff down. And that's what we do our whole lives, right? So many of us do this, and it's completely unconscious. It's like we're just running. We're running on a hamster wheel in our mind. We're keeping our minds running. We're focused on the external. We're keeping ourselves in this sort of, our nervous system in this sort of jacked up state, unconsciously, and then it becomes so habitual that we don't even realize, we don't feel it. We don't feel that we're revved anymore. That's just the way we're used to feeling. So when you calm the nervous system, what happens is that stuff starts to come up. So I have been doing this. I have been allowing these things up for coming up on 2 years now. And it is a process. It is a process. And this is what I talk most about on this channel, because when you have defenses that are blocking those things to protect you, your inner child created those defenses. Your child self created these defenses, these ways of diverting yourself from not feeling the painful feelings that were there when you were a child. They were too painful to feel at that time. So your child self had made these mechanisms to defend that and keep it away, push it away, keep it down, keep it away, so just away enough that I can cope. But those continue into adulthood, and eventually they make us sick. And if you have this, a particular combination of wounds and, personality traits, and one of the ways that can manifest in your adult life, given certain circumstances, is adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue. Because it causes mitochondrial damage. Having these wounds in your body and having them sit and stagnate and disrupt your energetic flow in your body results in mitochondrial damage. And shutting off the energy production, turning them into little cell defense machines instead of energy production machines, and you develop fatigue, and all your organs develop fatigue, and you get all the horrible symptoms that come along with these illnesses. But so it's a big process. It's a process to learn how to, it takes a lot of time to learn how to redirect these defenses, to sort of break down these defenses and learn how to allow these things up. So again, I've been doing this for almost 2 years, and it is a process. It is a huge learning process, but I'm trying to share with you what I'm learning so that you can do it faster than me. That's the whole point of this channel. That is such a big part of this channel. My goal of this channel, for you to be able to do this faster and easier than me. So over the last 2 years, what has been coming up are wounds from this lifetime. I've talked about powerlessness and helplessness and shame and rage and grief, and these were all things that I can link to this lifetime. However, a recent sequence of events has made it abundantly clear that a huge part of the core wounds in my body are from past life trauma. One in particular, but it might be a collection of them. I'm not a past life psychic, so I can't say. I have scheduled a past life psychic reading, but his wait list is so long that I have no idea. It could be October of this year, it could be next year, it could be, his wait list is like years long. So I am, I'm on my own here. We are all on our own, but I do believe that we can do this. There's such an ingrained thing in me, and I don't know if you can relate to this, that I want somebody else to tell me the answer. Please tell me the answer. Somebody else give me the answer. You know, that whole thing of questioning your own ability to do things. I think so many of us have this, right? Lack of believing in yourself, your own ability to do things and do them right. You know, sometimes we get this idea that we always do things wrong, or that other people do things better than us. Other people know more than us. This lack of self-esteem. This is so much root chakra and sacral chakra wounding that we are learning how to heal while we heal this illness, in order to heal this illness. What I've realized recently is that the universe, or my soul, has been trying to get me to look at this wound and heal this wound for several months by putting situations in my path that would trigger these intense fear states. I will say that it has to do with guns. And for me particularly, I had a circumstance in a past life, I believe, where a man full of rage shot and killed me. It's the details are so disturbing to me that I don't even want to speak them out loud. But it has created fears of being alone in my bed at night, in my bedroom, not being able to go to sleep. And I have been using all these nervous system calming techniques in order to fall asleep at night for years. I've had these intrusive thoughts that sometimes come, especially if I'm alone in the house. These really, really intense, intrusive images come into my mind, and it's like nothing I've experienced in this lifetime. I've never been in a situation like that. I've never been around guns at all. I've never been around people with guns. I've never been around a rageful person that is coming at me, which, you know, and what I've learned about past lives has led me to believe that this seems so clear to me that this is a past life trauma that has been triggered by something in my current life. And it has started coming up in a big way. I think the feelings that came from that trauma, the profound feeling of powerlessness, has pervaded my life to such an extent that I'm really starting to question whether this past life trauma actually has a huge part to play in my entire powerlessness wound. And that is one of my core wounds. Like, the feeling of powerlessness is the one that I am really, I'm constantly in, you know, conscious awareness of and moving through and working on, and it's pervasive in almost every area of my life. And I don't have any major traumas from my life, traumatic experiences from my life that would sort of make sense that it would lead to such a profound sense of powerlessness. So much so that, you know, I develop an illness. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but if you struggle with, well, where did this trauma come from? Where did the wounding come from? Or if you have this sense like, you know, you have wounding, can we all have wounding? In certain areas you can see in your childhood things, dynamics that created little t trauma or even big T trauma. But if you have this sense like it just doesn't seem like enough to create an illness like this, a debilitating illness, maybe you have past life trauma and wounds that are coming, that have been triggered by your current life circumstances. You know, maybe the lesser trauma of your life in this life maybe wouldn't have been alone enough to create this illness and create this deep wounding in your body and to manifest as physical symptoms. Maybe it doesn't feel quite big enough. Maybe it's because that's actually triggering a past life wound. And this is all speculation, but this is based on what I have learned over the last couple years of healing and what I've learned about past lives. And my understanding is that the people who get really ill from energetic wounds tend to be empaths, tend to be very sensitive people, and those tend to be old souls. And when you're an old soul, you have had a lot of opportunities in your past lives to have traumatic things happen to you. Like seriously, seriously traumatic, horrible things happen to you in past lives. And my understanding, what I've learned, is that those don't completely, we forget our consciousness, we don't remember those consciously, but they linger because it's the same soul. We have the same soul as we did in past lives. And to the soul, all of the lifetimes on earth is one life for the soul. And so things from past lives can be triggered. And when you're an old soul, it's really common to have physical ailments being manifested from past life trauma. So, I mean, I don't know how this is gonna land for you, but it's what I'm dealing with right now, so I'm gonna share it in case it is helpful to you, in case you find that one of these comes up. But it's just, it has been really jarring for me, actually, because I have made it my life mission to learn how to manage and control my nervous system and keep it calm in any circumstance in life. And what's been really jarring to me is that as this past life trauma and these very intrusive, really disturbing images have had the ability to completely flood my system to the point of me feeling like I don't have control over my nervous system and I need something now. Like I need to do this. I need to deal with this. I've been using some havening with it, but it's been interesting to have this circumstance where when the wound and when the traumatic experience is being seriously activated, and I'm really in an intense fear state, and that usually happens at night when I'm alone in the house in a bed, what I've found is I am not really able to work on healing it in that moment. So what I've learned, and this really confirms what I promote on this channel about calming your nervous system, because you cannot heal something effectively when your nervous system is being hijacked. If your fear is so intense in that moment that your nervous system is just completely out of control, you feel flooded, you feel overwhelmed, you feel overloaded with emotion, that's not a moment to work on healing that. That is a moment to divert complete attention to the calming of your body, no matter what it takes. So you want to completely block out, try to completely block out whatever that disturbing image is and have a replacement for it. Have a happy place, a safe place that you have cultivated beforehand that you can conjure up and go to. You've got to interrupt. This is really important. When you feel flooded with an emotion, like it's overwhelming your system, you can't calm down. You need something to calm it down. You need to interrupt that cycle because you can risk re-traumatizing yourself. This is so important. And none of us want that. None of us want that. So if you feel flooded, if you feel overwhelmed, you've got to focus on shutting that brain, diverting your focus. Think about anything else. You've got to stop. You've got to interrupt those disturbing thoughts that are continuing to activate you. This is why I promote this idea that you have to calm the nervous system first, because that process that takes a while, it could take, I don't know, anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. I don't know how long it's going to take for you, but that process of learning how to calm your nervous system in everyday situations is what's going to prepare you for when something comes up that's really upsetting, that's really disturbing, really activating. When you have practiced bringing yourself down, you have this amazing ability to do that now. And you have the confidence, you have the belief in yourself that you can do it. You know that you can do it. And those things combined will allow you to do it. So if something comes up that is really activating, overwhelming, disturbing, and that you need to stop and interrupt, you've got to pull these techniques. So this is why it's so important to not start by healing trauma. If you have adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue, you don't want to start with the trauma healing. You don't want to start with the wound healing. You have to start with the calming of the body, because that's what's going to give you that baseline to come with. If you start with wounds and traumas from your past before you calm the nervous system, when your nervous system is already revved, it's already being hijacked already, and it takes barely anything to tip it over the edge, it's going to be catastrophic for your health. It's going to be detrimental to your health and your mental health, and you could end up re-traumatizing yourself. So I plead with you, please, 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 do the work of learning how to calm your nervous system. Become friends with your nervous system. Learn your nervous system. What is it doing? Start to learn how to read it. How is it feeling? So that if something activates it in any circumstance, you can immediately see my nervous system's being activated. Right now I need to focus on calming it. It's the first essential step in healing these fatigue illnesses. Calm the nervous system and learn your nervous system. What does it feel like when it's jacked up? What does it feel like when it's calm? What does it feel like when it's being raised? Those sort of symptoms that you start to feel as it's being raised, because we become numb to it. If you've developed this illness, you're numb to it. You're numb to it. It happens to all of us. If you've developed this illness, it means you've been in a fear state for so long and you haven't known it, or you've actually been using it as energy, because you have background fatigue, and so in order to feel energy, you want your nervous system revved. You need that sympathetic state to feel energy and be functional in the day. You not only are numb to it, but you're also, feeding it and wanting it. I can completely relate to that. I got just completely hooked on stimulants and caffeine because I needed that. I felt like I needed that revved nervous system for my brain to work at all and my body to work. To be able to exercise and do work, do anything, even socializing. I just felt so fatigued if I didn't have those things that I felt like I needed them. I got addicted to them. but we also become numb to it at the same time. We don't realize what it feels like. We don't feel anymore the nuanced changes in our nervous system throughout the day until we learn how to calm it and keep it in this peaceful, peaceful state, this parasympathetic rest, digest, and heal state. Then you can start to learn what it feels like to go out of that zone. And in the beginning, when you're learning it, it's like so easy to get into that sympathetic state again. Oh, it's like a hair trigger. Happens from a single thought, from just any simple thing happening in your daily life. Just the simplest thing. And so that's why it takes so long, because you're going to have all these ups and downs and being triggered and learning how to calm, and being activated, learning how to calm, activated, calm, activated, calm, activated, calm. In the beginning, it's really, 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 really frustrating because you feel like everything activates you, and it's true. But over time, the more you practice with breathing and mindset changes and this making complete your focus, your mission in life to be calm, your body calm, your mind calm, your everything is calm, your environment is calm, that you can create peace and calm in whatever circumstance you come up against. That's when you're ready to start healing trauma and wounds. And this is a cautionary tale a little bit of what I'm talking about. And the reason that I'm able to ride these waves that I've been having since this has been triggered for me is because I've developed this ability to calm my body. And that ability to calm your body is basically teaching you how to regulate your emotions. In essence, because if you can keep your body calm, you can deal with any emotion. They might be scary, they might feel scary, and unpleasant. I mean, the emotions we're talking about on this channel are unpleasant emotions. Shame, anger, rage, grief, powerlessness, helplessness. I mean, those are unpleasant. Those are really unpleasant. But if you have a calm system and you have that ability to stay calm and see when you're being activated and calm it down, you have an ability to regulate your emotions and not allow your emotions to hijack you. So I'm talking about this past life wound that's been, I mean, it has been the most activating thing, most disturbing and flooding, trauma that has come up yet. And I've had some really upsetting ones, and I needed those tools, those in havening in particular, to calm my body. I needed those in place before I came up against those. But this, I will say, this has been by far the most challenging in terms of emotional disturbance, intensity, and really just overtaking my body. And so thank God, thank you universe, for bringing this a year and a half into my journey when I really have cultivated this stuff. And this is the wisdom of your body. This is the wisdom of the universe presenting you. If you just trust, when you trust that your body is going to release the things that you're ready for, that's exactly what happens. And not try to force. If you see a wound and you're like picking at it and you're like, get out, you're going into something that you're not ready for. If you're trying to force something out just because you want the healing, it's not a good idea. Your body and your soul will deliver to you the things that you need to heal in any given moment. And that cultivation of trust in the universe and yourself is such a both challenging and vital part of this process of healing. And it's one of the most beautiful, because developing trust in yourself is a gift that cannot be replaced. It's invaluable. That feeling of trusting yourself and trusting the universe, that in itself brings so much calm and peace to you. And this is a thing that I'm constantly reminding myself of. My New Year's resolution for 2022 was to fully embody this trust, to really do it, not to just say that I trust and sometimes trust and then go into periods of not trusting, but to be constantly focused on, this is happening for me, this is happening for a reason, I know it is, and I like making a little tale for myself about the sequence of events that has led me here. It just makes me feel good, and it helps support that belief that the universe is putting it in front of me, because in hindsight, the universe has been trying to push me to heal this particular past life trauma for several months, and it was about 4 or 5 months ago when I even started learning about past lives, and that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the breadcrumbs that the universe was going to start putting in front of me, that there was something here that I need to heal. And it's interesting to me because, you know, the universe is having us all heal things that we need to heal right now. But it's interesting because I'm wondering, is this past life trauma having a bigger impact on me than I realized? Because if the universe has now put it, because I was being triggered, but I was not healing it because I didn't really know how, and I was sort of putting it off and just coping. But now it's a situation where I cannot ignore it anymore. It has intensified so much that I can't ignore it anymore, and this is the universe. I believe this is the universe doing it. But it's choosing to do this for me because it must be standing in my way. It must be really harming me in a way that I don't fully understand. And I'll be so curious to see the result of it when I do heal it. And so I do want to add at the end that I'm using havening, but for this, the intensity of it, I am looking into EMDR, self-administered EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. I think I got that right. And it uses eye movement or sound, alternating sound, to desensitize whatever you're dealing with. But you have to work on it, do this in a calm state. So you have to be able to cultivate this calm state and be able to bring up the disturbing image a little bit, or something that's sort of like imagining it as a movie, or something that's a little separated from you, and then be able to transition by using your nervous system to stay calm, transitioning from the disturbing image to a happy place, safe place image, and be able to feel that and like alternate between those. So you're desensitizing with the eye movement and the ear and the sound alternating while you've got that disturbing image, and then you're reprocessing by, you know, overlaying, replacing this you know, calming, happy feeling, you know, image that you have. I'm experimenting with it, and I have to say I've used it a couple times. It's already helped some, so I'm excited about that. I'll keep you updated on that. For really traumatic events, it could be that EMDR is a really useful tool in this journey, in addition to havening. Yeah, I wanted to talk about this sort of out there theory. It's kind of out there for today's standards, but it's becoming less and less so. More people are becoming interested in these things because there's more and more realization that there's truth to them, and they're resonating for a lot of people as people are trying to heal, and that might be true for you. So this is in case past life stuff is coming up for you, or is going to come up in the future, stuff to keep in mind. But again, working on trauma, it's just reminded me and hit me how important this is. You must do the nervous system work first. You have to be able to calm your body, calm your nervous system, regulate your nervous system before working on these wounds and traumas. And if you were just allowing things, that'll happen naturally. Once your body calms, that's then and only then is when your soul is going to bring stuff up. But in general, you want to focus on calming your nervous system first. Okay? So that's my message for today. I hope it was helpful. If this video resonated with you, please hit that like button, share the video online, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't and you would like to hear more from me. So Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.